ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरकृष्णे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, chapter 39, verse number 26. So we are 26. So we are continuing to read the distressful statements of the gopis when they heard the news that Krishna is leaving for Mathura. So first they blamed fate, providence, Brahma, and then they blamed Krishna. They are also blaming themselves. They also praised the good fortune of the ladies of Mathura and their own misfortune. So things are like that in the material world. Krishna also said this earlier, because he has also disappeared once before without any notice. Here at least notice is being given that he is leaving tomorrow. One day notice is there, but in the Rāsa-līlā he disappeared without any notice. And when we came back, then this question was asked by the gopis to him, that why did you do that? What kind of person are you? So, bhajantam bhajati eke eke tad vipariyam no bhyanscha tad brohi sadhu bhovanat. Some people, they reciprocate to those who do good to them. There are others who don't do good to others who are doing good to them. There are others who don't care whether you do good to them or not. So they asked this question, that who are you of these people? So he said that I am none of these things. Naam to sakhyam bhajtopi jantum bhajami amisham anuvritta vrittaye yatha labdha dhane vinashte tachintayana bhritna veda. So he says that I am none of these things. Naham to sakhyo, that I don't reciprocate, and that is, he says, anuvritti vrittaye, that because I want to increase the intensity of their love. So this is a very unique thing which he does, and that is what he is doing here also, that by causing separation he increases the intensity of their devotion, their love, their absorption in him. So vipralambhena vina na sambhogam pushtim ashnute. This is the sutra of relishing rasa. This is how rasa is relished. And Krishna, being the best of rasikas, so he knows how to relish it. So this is, although it appears very painful when we read and very heart-rending, and you see the situation of the gopis as they are feeling. You can imagine if you have to be separated from somebody whom you love intensely, just like your wife. Sometimes you see young parents leave, the children dies, somebody happens, then their situation is very pitiable. So Gopi's situation is million times more intense than that. So that's why they are speaking in this mood. So they said in the previous verse that it will be a festival for the eyes of ladies of Mathura. And they are especially referring to the ladies, because Krishna is very attractive to women. That is also his characteristic. Mai tadvidhasya karunasya nama bhuda krurete tadativa darunaha yasau anasvasya sudukhitam janam priyat prim neshati paramadhunaha. So they are saying that this is certainly very improper, inappropriate, that a person like him, who has no compassion, no empathy, he is called akrura. He says a person who is so cruel, he is called non-cruel. So who gave him this name? Earlier they said that it is Brahma himself who has come in the form of Akrura. That's they said earlier. Now they have dropped Brahma. Brahma is off the hook. So now Akrura is on their radar. So who gave him the name Akrura? He is Ativa Daruna. He is extremely harsh, cruel. What will be the other word for akrura? Very violent, having zero compassion, hard-hearted, daruna. So, like a wood, stone-hearted. So Yoso, why is that? Why they call him? He says that he is not even trying to console anybody. He's not saying that please don't worry, I'm taking him only for one day, he will be there for festival, then he will come back. Like if you have to do, sometimes parents have to go away, child is very small, he's crying, then they give some solace, we'll bring this for you, or don't worry, I'll just come back, I'll call you. That's something to pacify. He says he's not doing anything like that. He thinks it is his just right to come and take Krishna like that. You also anashvasya sudukhitam janam. People who are completely distressful, in grief. It's not saying priyat priyam neshyati paramadvana. So he's taking person who is most dear to us, like our very life, and he's taking him to a place where we cannot go. Paramadvana means we cannot reach there. So that's why he should not be called akrura. So akruram sapante ahu. They speak this verse while cursing akrura. एतद् विधस्य एतादृशस्य यद्वा एषा विधा विधानं कर्म यस्य अतएव निष्करुणस्य अक्रूरम् इति एतन्नाम मा भूत न युज्यते. So he says, person who is like this, who is behaving in such a cruel manner, in such a unfriendly manner, who has such activity, who has no karuna in his heart, no compassion. So why is he called akrura? It's wrong to be called. He should be called mahakrura. And that's what he deserves from their point of view. So he says that this name should be changed. We should cancel his name. We need another name. Tatra hetu rativa iti. Why this reason? He says ativa daruna. Because he is very, very harsh, nirdayi, no daya, no compassion. Tasmad ataha paramayam krura iti namna abhidheya. So therefore he should be called Paramakrura. That should be his name. So punaresha maya samaniya yusmasu samarpaniya iti vachsa api na janam brajastham ekam api janam ashvasi. So he is not even giving some false hope that don't worry, as I am taking, I will also drop him back after 1 or 2 days. So no need to be distressful. He says even false hope also he is not giving. So that means he has no empathy. Right? What is the empathy level of akrura? 0. Otherwise he should at least say something. He can come out from his chariot and give a little speech to all of them. And don't worry, because he also saw these gopis, they are crying, they are suffering. It's not that he does not know. He is also a family man. He knows how it feels to take somebody. And Krishna is just a young boy. Right? He was 11 years old according to Bhagavatam, which is sometimes made as 15 or around 16. So Ekadasha, Gudha Sablo Avasat came earlier, I think in 3rd canto, that he stayed here for 11 years along with Balram, hidden. So Sanatana Goswami somewhere writes that 11 years hidden, another 5 years not hidden. Because the age of Krishna in Vraj is supposed to be 15 years, some months, in certain days. So he stays that many years here. So anyway, both views are there, 11 or 15, but in both cases it's very young. So he's just a young boy. Like sometimes students go to Gurukula to study, right? We saw these kids coming, and when they leave the house, how the parents feel and how the kids cry. It's terrible. Right? When I was in ISKCON Gurukula, I used to see that. Children crying. Parents come and leave them. And they are young kids. So Krishna was like that. Only thing is that in case of Krishna, everybody loved him. In their case, they are only parents. No one else is bothered, and the kids are also not bothered about anyone else. But Krishna was loved by all, not only human beings, but even animals, birds, trees. Everybody cried when Krishna left. So very pathetic scene, if you think about it, when he is leaving. So that's why he's saying that he is not even giving a word of solace to anybody. Sudukhitam iti susabdena marisyatam vrajjananam vad patakamayam eva prapsyati. So he says that the word sudukhitam, that people are so much suffering, they are unhappy, sad completely, because it's like some big calamity has fallen on them. So he says that it's like, let these people of Vraja die. This is how Kamsa was thinking. Remember that earlier he said, we'll call Krishna here, Krishna will be killed. When he's killed, these Brajvasis will die. So, but he is going to get the pataka, the sin of killing all these people, the Sakrura. Priyat pranadapi priyam Krishna. So Krishna is called here as Priyat Priyam, more dear than the dear. So what is most dear to everybody is our prana, life air. If our life air is going, then you say, put me on ventilator. Right? Previously in the house they used to have ventilator. Have you seen? Sanskrit it is called Vatayana. Now ventilator is only in the hospital. Houses don't have ventilators. It was very standard in India to have window and then a ventilator, so that there is a cross. So window is low, ventilator is there above. So that's called Vatayana. Vatayana. So now you don't see that. Everywhere you see these walls, hardly windows, and windows are always closed. So he says that Vad Pataka Mayam Prapsyati. So he is going to get this Pataka sin, because he is taking our life. In fact, who is more dear than our life. And where is he taking? Paramadhvana. So beyond the path. So beyond the path means that to a place which is agamya. Advano asmad agamyasya param durdesha. So far away land where we cannot reach. So this is what he is doing. Anardra dhiresha samastito ratham tamanvami cha tvarayanti durmadaha गोपानोभीस्थविरैरुपेक्षितं दैवं च नोद्य प्रतिकूलमीहते. So now they are attacking Krishna directly. So he says, look, even this Krishna, he has become so hard-hearted, an ardra dhi. So ardra means wet. So like your heart melts. So he says that even he is not melting, his heart is not melting. Why? Because you see, he is already sitting in the chariot. Children are very curious. If you have never sat in a chariot, you are very curious to sit. Right? If you take the first flight, and you are very curious to see how it feels to sit in a plane. So it's as if he is very curious to sit in a chariot. Later on he has to drive a chariot. His name will become Parthasarthi. So he says, Samasthito Ratham Tamanumi Chatvaranti Durmada. And these foolish gopas, they are also following him. They are not stopping him. So gopis cannot understand that why no one is saying anything. Why everybody is so happy that he is leaving. So difficult to understand. Their life is coming out. They cannot breathe. Their stomach is full of air. Right? You felt like that when your stomach is churning? Because of emotions, not because of hunger. You don't know what to do. Feel like lost. The mind feels blank, empty, darkness. That's how they're feeling. So they're speaking whatever is coming to their mind. It says these Brajvasis, these Gopas, they are also there along with their carts lined up. The chariot is in the front and their carts behind. And Sthavirai Rupekshitam. And these old people, they are also not stopping them. They are not saying anything. So how is this? He says, looks like that even our fate has turned against us. Daivam chanodya pratikula mihit. So it is certain that our providence is against us. So ultimately, they turn everything to themselves. So beginning from Brahma to Akrura to Krishna. And then they say that actually it's only our luck. That's why it is happening in this way, nothing else. Otherwise, how is it that not one person is saying one word to stop? So when something like this happens, you try to achieve something and everything fails, then you should know that Daivam is very strong. Because success or desire is fulfilled both by your Daiva and your action. Saho aho atra agatya krurena svakrurta sarvatraiva sancharita itya. So now they are saying that this Akrura is so powerful that he has infected everybody with his cruelty. So you become influenced by the association. So one who has strong nature, then he or she influences the others who are weak. So he says this Akrura has spread his virus of cruelty. Sancharita means like he actually spread cruelty to everyone. That no one is saying anything. How is this? Sarvatraiva sancharita. Even Krishna has become influenced. He is not looking at us. Even he is not coming and trying to give us some solace, pacify our mind. Even he is happily sitting. So what has happened to everybody? So anardradhrir asman rudato drishtva api esha Krishna. That this Krishna, so this esha is coming here. So generally we read in the class today that pronoun refers to something which was before, but not always. So here this Esha is a pronoun, but it is not referring to something else. Here it refers to Krishna himself, who is right there. So he says, Esha Krishna, Rudati Drishtvapi. He is seeing that we are crying. So gopis were not hiding their tears anymore. It was too much for them to control. Their love was so strong that it could not be contained anymore. Generally, they try to hide in front of others. They don't show, but now. So he says that why Krishna is also, why he is not seeing us and not saying anything, has no feeling. So this is the influence of Akrura. So asatsang tyagai Vaishnavachar. Mahaprabhu said the Vaishnavas should avoid asatsang, because asatsang can have very quick effect if you are not fixed. If you are not a Nishtita Bhakta, then you can become deviated very quickly. Falling down is easy. Getting up takes effort. So therefore he says that he has also become influenced by Akrura. So Akrura is hiding his nature behind the name. Right? Sometimes you want to sell some product, then have a nice ad. Ads are 90% false. There is little truth in them. Some truth has to be there, but there is a lot of bakwas in it. Right? So this is what Akrura is. Inside Krura, outside Akrura. Double face. So he's holding a knife in his hand, putting it backside and smiling at you. That's what he is. Anobhi Sahita Gopa Durmada. So and these Gopas, they are also damn foolish, that they are just following the chariot of Akrura with their carts. Esha Maho Drishta Mattata Eva Ajanishta. So Dushta Mattata. He says just he has spoiled them also, this Akrura. He has polluted their mind so strong. Atra anagamishyatah krishnasya virahena swayam yanmarishyanti tadapi na anusandhate iti bhava. So they are not thinking that if Krishna does not come back here, then we will die in separation from him. Why they are not able to understand this? What is so difficult in this? And sthavirair vriddhairapi nishedham akurvadbhir upekshitam svajivitam iti shesha. And then this elderly people, they are also not stopping them. They are also not saying that why everybody is going, what is the need, what will happen to the gopis. So no one is paying attention to that. So everyone is neglecting our life and their own life also, because these elderly people, they also like Krishna. So they are also doing upeksha, they are also being indifferent. So how is it possible that you are indifferent to something which is going to harm you? So become alert to take care of it, to counter it. So he says this is all Akrura's influence. So now all the blame is going to Akrura. So Akrura is going to get the hell because of the gopis. Kincha daivatam chaiti. And then moreover, what is the point in blaming others? But it is ultimately our own daiva. So whatever happens to somebody, it happens because of their own karma. It is useless to blame others. Blaming others can give us some satisfaction because it feels good to put the blame on others. To take the blame on oneself, that is needs some stable mind. When mind is not stable, then the easiest thing is to blame others. So all the gopis spoke all that because their minds also became unstable, agitated by seeing Krishna leave. But now they ultimately understand that there is nothing, it is all because of our own luck. Yadi devam asmakam anukulam abhavishyat tada vignai kinchid esham upadravam utpadishyate iti. So he says that if our luck was good, then there would have been some obstacle in their journey. Maybe the chariot will break down, right? If it is a car, it doesn't start. Sometimes it happens, right? Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra is going on and the chariot stops. Nobody knows what happened, right? It happened when Mahaprabhu was there. Then it won't move. He go on pulling it, it doesn't move an inch. So then he went behind, touched his head to it, started running. So some vigna can come, some obstacles can come when you're all ready to do something and suddenly something happens at the last minute and then everything fails, right? The flight gets cancelled and then you cannot go. Or COVID comes, right? No one can travel. Airport is closed or some terrorist comes, all flights cancelled. So some vigna can come, daivi, because of luck. So kinchid esham upadravam abhud, right? Josika was taking flight from Boston to New York and then it was the another flights in which the terrorists blew the towers in New York. So he was saved. So kinchid esham upadravam utpadishyat. If our luck was good, then this would have happened. Something could happen. Suddenly a snake can come there, right? Bite a Akrura. He has to be hospitalized. Cannot go. So tasmad ayureva vrajastha namata param nasti iti nishnuma iti bhava. So therefore they are saying that it is now definite that Brajvasi, their life is over. Because their life is Krishna. Krishna is the root of the tree of the Vraja. You cut the root, tree falls down. So if he is going away, everybody will die. But now it is not possible. Nivarayama samupetya madhavam kim no akarishan kul vriddha bandhavaha mukunda sangan nimishardha dustyaja devena vidvansita dina chetasam. So now they are coming to the ultimate limit. They cannot tolerate anything. So he says that we will all gather and we will block Krishna's path. You have seen the paintings, they are holding the chariot. Some are sleeping in front of the wheel. Sometimes people do strike these days, they go and block the highway. No traffic can flow. So they said we will do that. So Nivarayama samupetya madhavam. We will go near to Madhava and we will stop him. We will hold his hand, leg, cloth, everything. He cannot go. Kim no akarishyan kula vriddha bandhava. So then one may say, what happens? All your family members, they will get upset. He says, what will they do? They are going to shoot us? Let them shoot. We are going to die anyway, so better dying. So he says, what will they do to us? Akarishan kula vriddha bandhava. All the senior elder people, relatives. Why they want to do this? He says, Mukunda Sangat Nimishardha Dustajat. He says, we cannot live without Krishna even for half a moment. So Nimish is the time you take when you blink your eyes. That is called one Nimesha. So half of that says we cannot live. So basically they are saying that it is not possible for us to live without him. Daivena vidvansita dina chetasam. So we are very dina chetasa, we are in a very pitiable situation, and now the fate is against us. He's really killed us, he has destroyed everything. So what can we do except try our best? So when your life is in danger, then you try whatever you can to save yourself. So atmarthe prithvim tajet, can give up anything. Parasparam sammantrya sahasam adhiruya ahu. So after talking to each other and coming to a conclusion that what shall we do, because there is nobody who is helping us and there is no one who is even considering our feelings. So we cannot depend on anybody, not on Nanda Maharaj, not even on Krishna, elderly people, gopas, nobody. So we should do something. So then they gather their courage that let's go and stop him. So they go up to that extent. Nivarayama samyak upetya vastra hasta akarshana adina. So we all go together and we catch his pitambar, his hand, his leg, his hair. We don't leave him. We will die, but we won't leave. So that's what we should do. And we will say, Bho pranaika vallabha rathad avatara avatara. And say, oh, most dear lover, our very life, please come down from the chariot. Come down from the chariot. Tvam strivad kotir bhaga grihana iti vagbhirapi nivartiyam. And we will also tell him that if you don't come down, you will get the sin of killing millions of gopis. Stri hatya, big sin. So strivad kotir magrihana. So don't accrue the sin of killing millions of women. In this way we will also try to stop him by our speech, not only physically but also verbally, that don't do this. Do you want this? Nanu kulvadhunam asmakam etavad ati dharshtyam drishtva loka hasishyanti. So then he says that if you do like that, then people are going to laugh at you, because this is a very bold, audacious act, and you are all kulvadhu, you all come from noble families, so it does not suit your behavior. You are not belonging to some low class family, you come from good families, well behaved. So how can you act like this? So rahasyam udghatitam alakshya bandhavopi dakshanti. And now your relationship with Krishna will become clear to people. So everybody will make fun of you, they will laugh at you, and your relatives will leave you, they will drop you. He says, oh, they are all unchaste women, they are after this boy. How is this? So they will drop you. Tatrahu kim no karishyanti. So he says, then what is that they will do? Let them do. Kidrishanam nimishardhamapi vyapya taktum ashakyat. Because we cannot leave Krishna and live without him. People in the material world speak like that. Right? When they are in love, they say like that, I cannot live without you. Standard statement. So here they are actually having feeling like that. In the material world, people talk like that. And they change their tune after some time. And they say, why is this? Why am I living with you? So they are not like that. So he says that it is not possible that we can live without him. Nimishardhamapi vyapya taktam ashakyat. Mukundasya sangat. So whom says Mukunda. So Mukunda, it means who has a very beautiful face. Daivena vidvansita viyojita. But now it looks like that it is our bad luck that he has already separated us from him. Ateva dina chetsa cha. And therefore we are very pitiable. We are in this very low position because our fate is not in our favor. Tasam asmakam ayam bhava yadi asau nivritta syat tada yadi bandubhis tyajemahi tada vandevya iva vrindavane sthasyama iti abhishta siddhireva. So gopis are going up to this extent. He says that suppose we stop him from going, and then our family members will become very upset with us and they will kick us out from the house. He says, what is this? How can you behave like this? So he says, actually that will be very good, then we will go and live in the forest like one Devi. So there is the deity of the Vrindavan, one Devi. So we'll live with her in the forest and then we can see Krishna there. So this is our Abhishta Siddhi. Yadi va dandye ruddhye mahi va tadapi eka grama sthiti jnanena sakhi jana chaturya prapita itan nirmalya malya charvitadicha sukhameva jivam. And if that is not the case, suppose they will just punish us and they will lock us somewhere so that we cannot meet Krishna. So that also no problem. At least we will live in the same village where Krishna is living. And then we will have our secret agents through which we will get some garlands, some prasad of Krishna and send. So we don't mind that. As long as we can be with Krishna, that is fine. But this is most intolerable, that he goes away and we have to live here. So therefore he says, Sakhijan chaturya prapitai tan nirmalya malya charvitadina cha sukham jivam. That we will get some of his prasad, tambula, etc. and will live happily. Yadi cha asau naiva nivrittah syat tada utsarg siddham varnam asmakam asti. And then what if we are not successful in stopping him and he goes away? So then he says, then what can be done? Then our death is certain. So it's a do and die situation. So we will die in that case. But before that, let's try if we can somehow stop him from going. So this is their plan. Yasyanurag lalita smita valgu mantra लीलावलोक परिरंभण रास गोष्ठ्याम नीतास्मन क्षणमिव क्षणदाविनातं गोप्य कथम न्यतितरेम तमो दुरंतम. So this is the last verse. There is one more. So now they are saying that how will we pass our nights? Because in the daytime they were having separation from Krishna anyway. Every morning he will go to the forest with cows and come back in the evening. But at night they will meet. So therefore they are saying that Gopyah katham durantam tamo nati tarena. That, O gopis, how will we pass our terrible nights without Krishna? So gopis will wait whole day for him to come back. When he came back, they will all rush to see him. And then they will meet secretly at night. Morning he will go again, and they will feel separation. So this kind of viraha they were used to, but now they will have separation day and night. And this has not happened all this time. So he says that those nights we passed like a moment with him. So kshanam iva kshanada nitasmana. Our nights passed so quickly. But now how will we pass our nights without him? So at night we had Rasa Goshti, we will meet, talk, sing, dance, all that. Yasyanurag lalita smita valgu mantra. So all his beautiful smile, his sweet words, his statements, his joking, Leela-avaloka, looking at us in a very bewitching manner, parirambhana rasa goshthyam, and embracing us in the Rāsa-līlā. So now all this is over in one stroke. So difficulty comes when something happens unexpectedly. Although we all know that we will die, but if someone dies unexpectedly, then we feel pain. So this is most unexpected. They were never expecting that Krishna is going to go somewhere. This thought was not there in mind. And it just happened. So this is very troublesome. If some feelers were given that it will happen, because generally the girls, they know that they will get married, they leave the parents' house, they go to the husband's home. But he is a boy, he is not going to go anywhere. Even if he gets married, he will stay there. So they were never thinking that they will be separated. Especially the ones who were married gopis. Unmarried may be married somewhere and go, but still they will be in Braj. They will come back, they can see. So this was very unexpected. Ito api karanan nivarayame evetya. So there is further reason why we should stop him from going. Yasya anuragenaiva lalita smitadini yasyam tatraiva valgu mantra rahasya sanketa varta. So he says we passed all these nights in having loving exchange with him, his beautiful smiles, and in those nights where he will speak valgu mantra, means rahasya sanket varta, talking to us in secret places. Rahasya Samvidam. Right? In Gauti Gita also they said that your talk in secret place. Ras Goshthyam. So all this would happen in Ras Goshti, or this meeting for Rāsa-līlā. So Rāsa-līlā did not happen just on one night. It happened regularly. So Rasa Uplakshita Krida Matra Sabhayam. So Rāsa-līlā was there, but they will also meet, sit down and just talk. Not that every time they were dancing. No asmabhi kshanada ratriya kshanam iva nita. So night is called kshanada. Kshana means moment. So moment also means relaxing. So night, because at night you relax, it gives you, kshanada means kshanam dadati iti kshanada, which gives you time for yourself. Even daytime you may be busy doing so many things, but at night when you sleep, you are with yourself, right? You go in the lap of Paramatma and sleep. So that is called Kshanada. Kshanada also means festival. So those nights they went like a Kshana, which means moment. So how will we pass those nights now? Tam Krishnam Vina Durantam Adrishtaparam. So Durantam means something which you cannot cross, if you get lost in a thick forest, then you don't know where is the end of it. That is called Durantam. That which way to go and how will I get out of it. So Adrishtam Param, where you don't know which side is the end, means will this night ever come to an end? That is the meaning. So Tamaha, so now they use the word Kshanada previously for the night when they were with Krishna, and in separation they use the word Tama, which means Tamas, darkness, ignorance, Andhakara. So Viraha Andhakara Dukkha Samudram, because we will be plunged in the ocean of suffering due to separation from Krishna. So how will we get out of that ocean? Somebody drops you in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. You don't know which way to swim. And you don't see any end. You see water all around. So it is like that. Night comes and then it's all dark. And there doesn't seem to be any end of it. In the daytime at least you see the sun moving. Dark night, nothing. So Andhakar. Nu nishchitam katham atitarim. How will we pass the nights? Yathasya sukh sangena bhavyo api ratrah kshanaiva abhuvan tathaiva viraha dukkhena kshano api asmakam yug sahasram sada bhavati eva. So he said, just as we passed so many nights happily in association of Krishna like a moment, so time would just pass quickly in his association. In the same way, when we will have the suffering of separation from him, one moment will appear like thousands of yugas. So Truti yugayate tvam apashyatam sada bhavati eva. He says we have already experienced this. It is not something which they are speaking poetically, but they have experienced. This is the sign of Mahabhav. One of the symptom of Mahabhav, which is the last stage of prema, is that a Truti appears like a yuga in separation. Kintu bhavi ratri agamanir gametum katham prabhavishyami ityartha. So if one moment appears like 1000 yugas, how are we going to pass our nights when Krishna is gone from here? This is the thought in their mind. So there is one more sloka, maybe we can do that. Yoham Yonakshaye vrajamananta sakha parito gopair vishan kurrajas churitalaka shrak venum kwanam smita kataksha nirikshanena chittam chinotyam mritena katham bhavema. So he says, when the day was over, in the evening time, then Krishna will come back to Vraja from Vrindavan, from the forest to the Goshtha, along with Balaram and his friends, surrounded by them. So Gopair Parito Vishan, and then his nice black hair will be having dust from the feet of the cows, because cows are walking there in the behind. And he would be playing on his flute, Venu Kwanan, and he will look at us, because we will be standing, Smit Kataksha Nirikshanena Chittam Kshanoti. So he infatuated our minds by his side looks while playing on the flute. How are we going to live without him? So amumritenu katham bhaveme. How is it even possible? Kincha adyeva sayam marishyame iti ahuriyati. So by this they are saying that just by this evening we will die. Because every evening it was a big festival for them. They were waiting for that time. But now they will wait and he is not going to come. Anhakshaya dinavsane, at the end of the day, Anantasya Ramasya Sakha, so that is Balram came, Vishan Kwanan Nirikshan Vakshojadi Nibharnam. So he will look at us, at our bodies, Tena Chittam Kshinoti Sammohati. And by that he will infatuate our minds just by his looks. Amam Krishnam Rite Katham Bhavema Jivana. How can we live without Krishna? Adya Sayam Tattad Yadi Na Bhavishyati Tadaka Khalu Jivitam Dharitum Parishyati. So if this will not happen this evening, then which one of us will be able to survive? So we will all die. So this is the lamentation of gopis. And then so they will describe how Krishna will leave Braj. Not a very happy reading, but we have to read. No choice. Any question? Okay, who is there? Bhadra.
Pranams Babaji. In my understanding, a clear symptom of love is the empathy and understanding of the motives of the beloved one to act in a certain way. It seems to me that the gopis, knowing Sri Krishna so well, should know that he would never leave Vrindavan unless there is a very important commitment to attend. Why they are not showing empathy for Krishna in their words that we are reading now? And moreover, don't they know that Krishna actually never leaves Vrindavan?
How do they know that he never leaves Vrindavan?
I don't know.
No, you're saying it, so you should know.
Yeah, because I heard you saying sometime.
No, that is we are saying, but they are not saying it.
Yes, okay.
So what do you want them to say? That Krishna, you should go, no problem. We know that you have important work to do.
Well, at least to understand that it is not because he doesn't love them, but because, he has other things to, like a very important thing to attend, or something like that.
So if you love somebody and that person is leaving, how will you feel? Smiling or you feel sad?
Probably very sad, but at least try to understand.
Yeah, so they will also understand, but now the sadness is being depicted here so that we can understand. You have to remember always that purpose of Bhagavatam is not just telling stories, but make us understand what is Uttama Bhakti, what is Prema. If this is not sad and we just say that, okay, yeah, we know that you have important work, so please go, no problem. Then how will you know that what is the difference between you and them? So this kind of empathy is fine that everybody does in the material world. But to understand how much they love him, so that we can get a little glimpse. If we can get a little glimpse, our life is successful. If you can just understand one little fraction of their mind. Now we are just talking that for them one moment looks like one yuga in separation from this. We are just talking, we have no feeling for them. If we had feeling like for them, we won't be able to even read it. Like you read Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he hears, he will just fall into his inner state. Because he can feel, he can understand. We have no such feeling. So that by reading at least theoretically we can understand. And then maybe our heart can also shake a little. Okay, shall I?
Pranam Babaji, I think I almost have answer to my question from this explanation that you just gave, but I was thinking of the explanation you had given in earlier classes that even though gopis seem to appear as being in so much grief while being in separation from Krishna, but inside they actually feel that transcendental bliss due to being absorbed in thoughts of him.
Yes, that is also there. But it is described, as I said, the main purpose as far as we are concerned, so that we can understand how it feels in separation when someone has love. Because earlier he explained their union and what was their mood, how they felt. So this is way to grasp, because this prema is very difficult to understand. It's very, very difficult to understand because we don't have an experience of it. So that's why it is described. Malati.
Akrura is a very learned person. So is there any explanation given why he did not show at least some cognitive empathy and over the inhabitants of Vrindavan before taking up?
There is no explanation given there, but I can only say that probably he has no idea what the gopis are feeling. So don't think that everybody knows that they love Krishna so much. So if he doesn't know, he's just normal when he's coming, and he's also not thinking that he's not going to come back. He's thinking that he's taking him there, and he expects Krishna to kill Kamsa and then come back. So then he doesn't see what is big solace I have to give them. I'm not taking him permanently.
But you had mentioned he saw that they were in pain.
Hmm?
You had mentioned that he saw that they were in pain when Krishna went on the chariot.
Yeah, but that's not thing. Just like I gave the example, because I have seen it, the boy is going to school, not day school, but a hostel. So he is crying, parents are there, so they know that it's not that he's going there and he will never come back or anything like that. So if he sees what is there to be told to them, they are not children, they are grown up women, and he is going to come back in 2 days. So he understands, okay, they feel like that. And moreover, he is not known to them. It's not that he knows them. Okay, Sandeep.
Yeah.
Pranam Babaji Maharaj. So one thing is that factually Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, but then we also know that when we are listening to this Bhagavad Katha, so it is Nar-līlā. So when actually we are listening, so we should listen like it's a Nar-līlā and what these human emotions or human play generally happens, or we should keep this in mind that he never leaves. And how do we get this thing by listening to this Bhagavad Katha?
Get what?
Means how do we get the true message by thinking that it is Nar-līlā?
True message you get to understand what is being described. What is Vyasa trying to describe or Sukdev trying to describe? That is the true message. Okay, Swapnilji.
Babaji Maharaj, I want to understand, like, in all of this, what Krishna is thinking and why he is not doing anything to allay the...
That's a good question. So Krishna is very mysterious. It is very difficult to understand his mind. On one side, he loves gopis just like they love him, although he said that I cannot fathom your love. But it is not that he cannot fathom or he does not know. But he has come with certain purpose here on earth. And this is only one purpose, that he has, his Prem Leela. But he has many more things to do, so he is mindful of that. And he will send a message to gopis. Plus he already said, Naham tu sakyo bhajami amisham anuvritta vrittaye. He already said that he does this. Just as he left Rāsa-līlā, why did he leave? He had a purpose. So he does not get just completely absorbed and forget everything else. That's not his personality. So he also knows that now it is time for me. I have to do that Nar-līlā outside Vraj. What he has to show, he already showed. His Leela is eternally going on. He comes here, Yadrashi kriyate krida tat srutva tat paro bhavet. So he does Leela for us to educate. So what he wanted to teach about Prema, that he has already done. It's over. There is nothing new which is going to happen. So he is closing his curtain here in Vraj. And the curtain rises in Mathura. As far as...
But Babaji, couldn't he do it like more beautifully, like more pacifyingly, telling them before that he knew that he is going? Maybe Akrura did not know, but...
That's what I'm saying. He could have done like that.
He is
Then
not
how will
going
you-
to come finally to the gopis. It feels very
No, that's what I said. He could have done that. You have to always keep in mind why this book is written. And I've said it repeatedly again and again. This book is written, I said now also, to teach us what is prema. So if you would have done that, then gopis would not speak like this. How would you know the mind of gopis then? How would you know? If he had not disappeared from the Rāsa-līlā, there will be no Gopi Geet. Right? If Akrura does not come suddenly like this and say, I am taking Krishna, there will be no this statements of gopis like this. So when there will be no statement, how will you know that they actually love him like that? You will not know. And if you will not know, then what is the point of writing Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam is written only for this. This is the whole thing said in the very beginning, that you have said so many things, but Mahima Vasudevasya Yatha Dharmadeyascha Artha. So that the way you have explained dharma, etc., that way you have not explained the Mahima of Vasudeva. So he is writing that. This was the order of Narada to Vyasa to write this. He gave him the sutra, and then he says, Tvametad Viplikuru, you expand on this now. So then he sat in Samadhi, he saw, and then he writes this. So this is the intention of this book. That's what we have to keep in mind. The storyline has a purpose. We can say why it is not like this, why it is not like that, it should have been like this, it should have done like that. That you can say and discuss, that is fine. Maybe in another Purana it is like that. There are so many stories in other Puranas which are not exactly this way, they are different. Like in Mahabharata, Parikshit's story is different. Why? Because it is meant for a class of people who will be happy by reading like that. But Bhagavatam is bringing people's understanding. Once you have read Mahabharata, then they want to elevate your understanding, your consciousness, so they take you more up. That is Vyasa's plan. And then the stories are written accordingly. So the same story can be said in so many different ways. People do say it. So this is the intention. So when we see how the commentators, and this Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary is small, if you read Sanatana Goswami, he goes more elaborate. So he is adding so many things to it. It's not there. But it's just like they're saying we will die, how will we see in the evening and all that. And this Krura is like that. So some words are there, but he expands on that to make us understand their mind. That is the meaning of that. Bring out the point which the author wants to say, to expand that in more, clear sense. Vidya Shankar, Vidya Sundar.
Thank you so much. I cannot run my camera for some reason, so excuse me that. You mentioned today that, just in the class, that if we just simply understand the prema of gopis or their feelings, just a little bit spark of it, we would be able to, succeed in our life. And my thinking is, how can you understand a prakrita, Gokshalya, with our mind? And what's the process? Of course, we know Harikatha is the process, but is it in our hands? Is it in our hands to understand?
It is in our hands? Or
Is it?
So what do you mean by your hand? Means you expect that you don't do anything and it will just happen? So when I say no, it is not in your hands, what does it mean? Means you should not listen to this
No, I'm saying is this.
So why are you listening then, if it is not in your hand? What is the purpose of listening?
Purpose of listening is to get the grace of Bhagavatam, in my understanding.
So that means you have some role to play.
And Bhagavatam himself revealed this, and what you mentioned.
Krishna says in
If
Bhagavad
we
Gita,
try, we will be able to try to understand.
in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says very simple statement. He says, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You know this statement.
Mhm.
He says
Okay,
that
yes.
your adhikar is in doing karma, not in fruit. So fruit is never in our hand. But that does not mean that I don't do anything. So understanding is not in my hand, but that does not mean that I don't make an effort. Otherwise it looks like it.
Well, no. I agree that effort is also sadhana is meant for us to practice, but it's really up to us to understand.
Then up to whom is it?
In our hands? We make effort. Sorry?
So in whose hand is it?
The Lord.
How?
He grasps understanding. Yes.
What is that?
He grants understanding and grants forgetfulness.
So then how is it different than what I said in Bhagavad Gita? He says that you do your karma and the fruit is not in your hand. How are you saying it differently than what I said? How is it different?
Well, no, I don't see the difference itself.
So that's what I am saying. That you have to do your sadhana and there is nothing in your hand, and it does not mean that you don't use your hand. So everything is in the hand. You have to act as if it is in your hand, and you have to think it is not in my hand.
Yes. Yeah, but my initial point was based on what you said. If we will try to understand the glimpse or the spark of thy love, then our life is success.
So what is wrong with my statement?
How can we understand with our... Sorry?
What is wrong with my statement?
No, I'm questioning how is it possible for us to understand it? We're dealing with dokshas, with prema, with Mahabharata.
Arre Baba, that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
How can we even try?
That's what I'm explaining. I'm giving these classes to help you understand. Why I'm giving these classes. What is
so
the
is it
purpose?
intellectual understanding? Is it intellectual understanding?
What is intellectual understanding?
By intelligence, using buddhi.
Otherwise, what is the other understanding besides understanding with buddhi? Is there any other way to understand?
Well, perhaps trying to feel similarities.
So how do you feel? You can feel without buddhi? How will you do that?
No, maybe I don't understand what buddhi is properly. I think the buddhi and emotions are two different things. It's my
So you only have mind or buddhi or whatever you call it. With that only you are going to understand. Even if you are going to realize Krishna, that will also happen through that only. Manasaya vanudrashtavya. In the Upanishad says, you will see. Krishna also says this in Bhagavad Gita. How else will you see? If Krishna comes in front of you, you will see with eyes, or how will you see?
Yeah, if he allows, I will see him. If he allows, I will see him.
No, if he comes in front of you and you have your eyes open, what do you mean allows? You will see him through the eyes. How else will you see? Keep your eyes closed, will you see him? No. Okay.
Thank you.